This is Part 2 Episode 109. Wang Lin was floating 10,000 feet above the tower. With eyes bright as torches, he raised his right hand and all the black fog began rushing toward him. It looked like the black fog was being pushed from its outer rim toward Wang Lin. The sky and clouds changed color. Roaring thunder echoed from within the clouds. These thunderous roars spread out and echoed across all of Lingyu. In almost the blink of an eye, all of the black fog, within 5,000 kilometers, gathered in his hand in the form of a ball the size of a baby's head, and it had lightning running through it. The ball was filled with fog and flashes of the restrictions. There was also a powerful pressure coming out of it as it flickered. Wang Lin squeezed his hand and the flashing restriction inside suddenly collapsed, and turned into countless strands of black gas, which started to circle around him. Finally, the strands of black gas intertwined before him to form a golden-purple flag. The flag waved without any wind and created bursts of flapping sounds. At this moment, the surrounding 5,000-kilometer area was clear, but there were still some roars coming from the void, and flashes of black shadows could be seen. Primary souls, return. Wang Lin opened his mouth and the primary souls rushed back into it, and then to the soul flag inside his origin soul. While I'm cultivating the celestial slaughter art, I might as well refine the soul flag too. Then my chance of survival on planet Qianyun will increase. Also, Master wants me to go to the Eastern Demon Sea in 3 months. Now I only have 1.5 months left. Should I go or not? Wang Lin's divine sense spread across Lingyun before his body turned into smoke and disappeared. Lingyu, 5 Spirit Mountain. The number 1 cultivator in Lingyu, the old man who was half a step into the ascendant stage, was Old Man Tian Tai of 5 Spirit Mountain. He was currently sitting at the top of 5 Spirit Mountain, absorbing the power of the moon and cultivating. Old Man Tian Tai opened his eyes. They were calm as he looked at the void and slowly said, "Old Man Tian Tai greets Lord Messenger." A ray of purple light appeared in the void as Wang Lin appeared. He clasped his hands at Old Man Tian Tai and said, "Sorry to bother you." Old Man Tian Tai took a deep breath and shook his head. "It was I who was rude. If I didn't break the rule and enter the area last time and surprised that unyielding beast, I believe Lord Messenger would have had an easier time taming it." "No problem." Wang Lin's gaze was calm as he looked at Old Man Tian Tai. This old man had already reached Dao-seeking part of the path to the ascendant stage. This was a very important stage for any late-stage soul transformation cultivator. It was a matter of life and death. One can be seeking Dao in the morning and be dead by night. The old man slightly closed his eyes and said, with a deep voice, "Since Lord Messenger isn't here about me entering the area, then what is Lord Messenger looking for an old man who is half a step into the grave for?" Wang Lin looked at the distance and slowly said, "Does this planet have any demonic beast gathering grounds?" Old Man Tian Tai's eyes became serious and he began to ponder. Shortly after, he waved his hand and a jade suddenly appeared. He said, "Lord Messenger, there are 3 demonic beast gathering grounds on the planet, and they are recorded here." After accepting the jade, Wang Lin swept it with his divine sense. He nodded toward the old man, before disappearing without a trace. Old Man Tian Tai looked at where Wang Lin disappeared, before slowly closing his eyes and muttering to himself, "This child is filled with brewing killing intent, his trip this time is to kill. I hope that no one offends him along the way." At the northern end of planet Earth, there are dense mountains that cover millions of kilometers. That place is a gathering ground for demonic beasts. There are even desolate beasts as powerful as ascendant cultivators there. That place is also where all the disciples on the planet test themselves. However, the 300,000-kilometer area at the center is considered a forbidden area, and one shouldn't casually enter it. Wang Lin put the jade away, then he locked onto the direction he wanted to go, waved his right hand in the air, and a silver light suddenly appeared before him. Wang Lin began taking steps inside the silver light. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. As if he were walking up a flight of stairs, he took 10 steps in a row. 10 steps was what he could currently withstand to teleport at once. After 10 steps, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his body flickered. At this moment, his body began to flash violently. Finally, there was a thunderous roar, and once the sound disappeared, there was no one there anymore. A large amount of silver light suddenly appeared in the clear sky in the northern part of the planet. The clear, blue sky began to change as ripples silently appeared and began to spread. After a few breaths of time, there was a bright flash of silver light at the center of the ripples. The brightness of the silver light could match the sun. It was as if there were two suns, one golden and one silver. Wang Lin's figure stepped out from the silver light. His face was a bit pale, and his breathing was a bit heavy. Only after he took out a pill and ate it did he slowly start to feel better. After he appeared, the silver light slowly disappeared and the change in the sky slowly returned to normal. Wang Lin didn't stop. He turned into a ray of light and charged toward the dense mountain range ahead of him. The ground before him was no longer an earthy yellow, it now had a layer of blue, ghostly light above it. There was a giant stone tablet that someone had placed into the ground with a powerful spell. There were several large, red words filled with killing intent carved onto the tablet. Earth Northern Demonic Lands. These 4 large words gave off a powerful aura that seemed to come at you like a tidal wave. The aura caused the surroundings to have a constant gust of wind that whistled on endlessly. As Wang Lin stood under the giant tablet, he raised his head and silently looked at it for a long time. There was a thin layer of mist behind the tablet, but it didn't conceal anything. If one looked carefully or spread out their divine sense, they would clearly see what was there. There was an endless stretch of mountain ranges behind the tablet. There were no roads, the ground was covered in leaves, and the air was filled with a rotting smell. Aside from this, the area was completely silent and without a sign of life. Even though it was daytime, there was a very cold aura coming out from the ground and spreading across the area. Wang Lin carefully looked at it for a while. After pondering a bit, he raised his foot and stepped toward the mountain range. The celestial slaughter art must be experienced during slaughter. Today I'll use this place to begin my cultivation of the celestial slaughter art. Just at this moment, several rays of sword energy appeared in the horizon. These sword energies were of all different bright colors, and were emitting powerful energy. It was clear that none of these people had weak cultivation. Senior apprentice brother, we are here. Before the sword energy closed in, a voice came from one of them. Wang Lin's stride didn't even slightly pause, because of the appearance of these people. He continued to step into the mountain range, and his figure disappeared into the thin layer of mist. Shortly after his figure disappeared, several rays of sword energy landed before the tablet, revealing 5 people. Among the 5, 3 were male and 2 were female. Their clothes were clearly divided into 2 different styles, and all 5 of them were dressed well, were good-looking, and had powerful auras. Of the 2 females, one of them was wearing a red dress, and had a beauty mark above her mouth. She softly said, "Senior apprentice brother, I think I just saw someone enter this area." This girl didn't look every old, but her cultivation level was at the late stage of core formation. Among the 3 males, there was one who was very good-looking and middle-aged. He was wearing a green and white robe, his hair was tied up with simple, black belt, and he had an ordinary sword on his back. After he heard the girl, he faintly smiled and said, "This is not a forbidden place, and a lot of different people from different sects come here to train, so there is nothing strange about seeing other people here. Once Uncle Master and them arrive, we will go inside together. At that time, all the cultivators we meet will avoid us, so you don't have to worry about it." Another one of the males among the 3, who looked like he was 20 or so years old and was wearing a blue robe, smiled and said, "That's right. Brother Guo belongs to the Da Lu Sword sect, which is one of the top 2 sects on planet Qianyun. Even if he meets disciples of the Heavenly Fate sect, if they are too weak, they will still avoid him. There is no need to talk about the small sects on planet Earth." As for the remaining male and female, they were both silent, they didn't say a word. The woman even showed a hint of hatred when she looked at the 3, especially toward the man named Guo, and her hatred wasn't hidden at all. In terms of appearance, this woman was considered the prettier of the 2. She was wearing a white, cotton dress. On her waist she used a light blue silk ribbon to tie an elegant bow, and there was a rose hairpin on her silky, ink-black hair. Her skin was as smooth and flawless as jade without any need for makeup, and if it wasn't for the hatred on her face, she would be even more beautiful. The man named Guo faintly smiled. He didn't seem to care about the woman at all and softly said, "Lady Qian, you can relax. I promise to leave one brilliant golden fruit for you, enough for you to bring back to your sect." The woman named Qian's face was filled with killing intent as she stared at the man named Guo and coldly said, "Even with how famous the Da Luo sword sect is, I can't believe you would use such despicable methods. I'm truly blind to have believed in you." The man named Guo shook his head and said, "If one has the luck, anyone can obtain these heavenly treasures. The brilliant golden fruit is of great use to my uncle master. Since you asked me for help, then I must report it to my sect." Wang Lin's figure moved inside this mountain range like lightning and his eyes became cold. Da Lu sword sect, interesting. This will be a good chance to try to find some information on Senior Ju Yi's location. I just don't know what that brilliant golden fruit is. 3 hours later, under the stone tablet, 3 rays of light came from the horizon. They were followed by a series of thunderous sonic booms. These 3 rays of light descend from the sky with the pressure of a 10,000-man army. They landed directly next to the 7 people waiting beneath the stone tablet. Following the thunderous roar, their landing created a gust of wind that blew everyone, but the man named Guo back several feet. Their faces were all extremely pale and filled with fear. After the gust passed, 3 figures were revealed. All 3 of them were white-haired old men, and a powerful sword energy could be felt from underneath each of their black robes. Each one of them had a treasure sword that gave off waves of sword pressure on their backs. Among the 3, only one person was at the late stage of soul formation, the other 2 were at the early stage of soul transformation. Once the man named Guo saw the 3 of them, his heart trembled. He immediately bowed and respectfully said, "6th generation disciple Guo Xingyi greets Uncle Master." The person he bowed to was the only soul formation cultivator among the 3. Guo Xingyi's expression was extremely respectful. The soul formation old man smiled, nodded, and said, "Guo Xingyi, come and greet the 2 sword pavilion elders." He moved to the side and gave Guo Xingyi a look. Guo Xingyi quickly kneeled down on one knee and said, with even more respect than before, "Disciple greets elders." One of the 2 early-stage soul transformation old men was short and the other one was tall. The tall one said, "Stand up and speak. Was the brilliant golden fruit found by you?" Guo Xingyi quickly got up, then he pointed at the woman, Qian, who still hadn't said a word and simply looked at him with a cold gaze. This woman is Junior's good friend. The brilliant golden fruits were found by her sect, but there were demonic beasts guarding them, and they couldn't obtain them with their power. Junior just happened to pass by and agreed to go with them. The 2 soul transformation elders looked at each. The short one asked, "Little girl, how many brilliant golden fruits did you see?" Qian originally wasn't willing to speak, but under the old man's lightning-like gaze, she couldn't help but softly say, "There are about 100 fruits." 100. The short old man's eyes suddenly lit up and he said, "The demonic beasts guarding 100 brilliant golden fruits must be extremely powerful. For your sect to find it, they aren't simple." Qian didn't speak, but the white-robed man beside her said, with indignation, "My sect expended a lot of effort and sacrificed several elders to find the brilliant golden fruits. Your Da Lu sword sect." Qian frowned and shouted, "Shut up." The man's face was filled with anger. He took a deep breath, turned his head, and no longer spoke. Guo Xingyi hesitated for a bit before respectfully saying, "Lord Elder, Qian is Junior's good friend. After obtaining the brilliant golden fruits, would it be possible to give her one?" The tall old man laughed and said, "If we can find them, then we'll give her one. Lead the way." Qian let out a sigh and held some complex feelings in her heart. She had no choice but to lead the way, or else it would affect her sect. With how tyrannical the Da Luo sword sect was, anyone that dared to go against them would be wiped out. Not to mention the fact that just these 2 elders here gave off an aura that was several times more powerful than the head elder of her sect. Compared to the Da Lu sword sect, her sect was like a firefly, they stood no chance of resisting. Guoxingyin, to abuse my trust. Qian Qin felt bitter in her heart. She gave Guoxingyi a vicious look before clenching her jaw and walking into the Earth Northern demonic lands. The white-robed man that belonged to the same sect as her followed with a gloomy expression. The people of the Da Luo Sword sect walked into the thin mist and disappeared. Wang Lin was making his way through the Earth Northern demonic land. He had his hands behind his back and his feet were 3 inches off the ground as he flew through the area. He was still comprehending the various changes in the celestial slaughter art and how to change life force into a life force seal. The surrounding mountain range was completely silent, without any sign of life. As he was flying, a ghostly light flashed a bit before him, then a figure suddenly shot out of hiding and charged at Wang Lin. The figure's speed was too fast, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived before him. It was surrounded by a layer of black fog, and a bloody smell rushed toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's body didn't stop, his expression didn't even change. At the moment the black figure closed in, he rubbed his right hand's fingers and pointed at it. He directly stabbed his finger into the black fog. A ray of grey gas came out from Wang Lin's fingertip. However, this grey gas was extremely weak, so right after it appeared, a majority of it disappeared. Not much grey gas had entered the black figure. A sizzling sound suddenly came out from the black fog. It was as if snow was melting. The black fog boiled until it finally dissipated, revealing a fist-sized beast. This small beast didn't have any limbs, only a big mouth. There were no teeth, but a sour smell came from within its mouth. The spit of this beast was clearly very powerful. At this moment, Wang Lin's finger directly stabbed into the small creature's body. He moved his finger around, causing the small beast's body to shatter into pieces and disappear. Wang Lin withdrew his finger and continued to move. As he withdrew his finger, strands of grey gas came from the shattered remains of the small beast and circled around his finger. The celestial slaughter art harvests life force during slaughter. I just don't know if what I have between my fingers is life force. Wang Lin lowered his head to look at the grey gas around his finger. After pondering for a bit, he continued flying. Time slowly passed. Wang Lin moved very quickly, but didn't go too deep into the area. He had his divine sense spread out and locked onto the people of the Da Luo Sword sect. Their every move was clearly seen by Wang Lin's divine sense, they could hide nothing. Wang Lin wanted to see what exactly this brilliant golden fruit was. He also wanted to use the people of the Da Luo Sword sect, especially those 2 soul transformation old men, as practice for his celestial slaughter art. Even now Wang Lin didn't have any good will toward the Da Luo Sword sect. Right now, as Wang Lin flew through the mountain range, the grey gas around his fingers was several times thicker than before. The strands of grey gas were like strings that quickly circled Wang Lin's fingers. There was no lack of demonic beasts here in the Earth Northern demonic land, however, none of them were a threat to Wang Lin. If it wasn't for his desire to see what that brilliant golden fruit was, Wang Lin would have already gone deeper into the area to practice the celestial slaughter art with the powerful creatures. On this day, Wang Lin withdrew his finger from the head of a bull that had the power of a soul formation cultivator. At the moment he withdrew his finger, a thick stand of grey gas came out from the bull's forehead and circled his finger. The bull's body trembled and its gaze slowly faded until it fell down and remained motionless. Just at this moment, a ray of black lightning came from the distance. Along with a fierce roar, the mosquito's ferocious body appeared next to Wang Lin. Its large mouth stabbed into the bull's head, and with one suck, it sucked all the blood, flesh, essence, and the core of the bull. Only the bull's skeleton was left on the ground. After the mosquito beast finished sucking, a white light appeared around it. After flashing a few times, the white light disappeared, causing the terrifying hair on the mosquito beast to look even more fierce. The mosquito beast was very happy and began to fly in circles before Wang Lin. Along the way, every time Wang Lin killed a soul formation, or above beast, he would call out the mosquito beast so it could absorb the beast's essence and core in order to stimulate the mosquito's growth. If it wasn't for the fact that the thunder toad wasn't suited for this method of growth, he would have released the thunder toad as well. The mosquito was, after all, a beast from the stars. Although it appeared on planet Suzaku for some reason back then, its ferocity was not something a beast from a cultivation planet could match. This beast lived to devour. It could devour any kind of beast in the world, and the more it devours, the stronger it becomes. After it started following Wang Lin, it had devoured countless pills, heavenly treasures, cores, and the like. Although its strength was still at the nascent soul stage, even some soul formation beasts would be affected by its ferocity. Wang Lin's body moved forward and floated in the air. Then the mosquito let out a roar and moved. It moved like lightning and appeared below Wang Lin's feet. Then it brought Wang Lin deep into the mountain range. As it flew, Wang Lin noticed something. The mosquito beast also noticed it and immediately stopped. It remained motionless as it waited for Wang Lin's order. Wang Lin looked toward the south, revealed a smile, and muttered to himself, "Did they find the brilliant golden fruit?" With a thought, the mosquito moved toward the south without a sound. It was like a ghost tonight. However, its eyes were filled with bloodlust and lit up like a ghostly flame. Wang Lin paid attention to the changes happening to the mosquito beast in these past few days. The mosquito beast seemed to be at a critical stage and was about to make a breakthrough. Every time the mosquito devoured the essence and core of a beast, there would be flashes of white light around it, just like when it devoured those white lines from the chaotic broken stars. Looking at the ghostly light in the mosquito's eyes, an image suddenly appeared inside Wang Lin's mind. On a certain large planet, there were countless mosquito beasts that covered the entire sky. Their gazes were all bright like ghostly flames. This video will end here.